Okay, I'm going to go through and give a little more detailed uh, example of how you figure out your defensive total for an APBA baseball team. Here you see I've got the 1972 Detroit Tigers, and I have my outfielders here, infielders, first base, second base, and so forth. Um, and then the pitcher and catcher. Well, in the basic game, without using any of the advanced rules for the basic game, you simply add up all the defensive ratings at each position, and then you look on a chart that tells you which of the three fielding columns to use when this team is out in the field. So let's just go through this. We'll start out in the outfield. Willie Horton. You can see that his outfielder rating is a 1. So 1. Northrup is a 2 for a total of 3. K-Line is a 3 for a total of 6. Cash is playing first base. We go to 10. McAuliffe is playing second base. 10 and 8 is 18. Excuse me. Brinkman's a 10. 18 and 10 is 28. Rodriguez playing third is a 5. 28 and 5 is 33. Lolich is a 1. That's 34. And Bill Freehand is an 8 for a total of 42. Now, let me go ahead and pick these up. Get them out of the way here real quick. There's a couple different areas. In the regular rules, it talks about defensive ratings. Defensive plays affect outcomes when you get result numbers of 12 to 42 in the playing charts. If the 9 fielders total 41 or more, which in our case, if you remember, the Tigers totaled 42 in this case, use fielding 1 column. 36 to 40, use fielding 2, and 35 and fewer, use fielding 3. If we go to the first page, or the bases empty chart, they've also, and this is the latest booklet from APBA, over on the right hand side they basically have the same thing repeated so that you can check it here also. Fielding 1, fielding 2, fielding 3, and you can see that 41 or more is fielding 1, which is what the Tigers were. All that means is if we look at the bases empty or any of these chart situations, you're going to have your 1 to 11 is the hits results section of the charts, and then 12 through 42 is the fielding. You can see for fielding they have 3 columns, and the 3 columns are fielding 1, fielding 2 column, and fielding 3. Because the Tigers are a fielding 1 column, when we get a result from the opposing team and it's 12 to 42, we will be looking up the result in fielding column 1. And where is that? Just a couple examples of where that might be significant is right here as an example. If you get a result of 17 in fielding column 1, the result is a fly out to right field. But if we slide over to fielding column 2, it's a single to right. And if we go all the way over to fielding 3, not only is it a single, but the batter gets to second on an error by the right fielder. So this is a great example of how the different fielding capabilities of a team come into play in the basic game of APBA baseball. Now, in the basic game, there is an optional fieldings rating that you can apply to make it maybe a little more accurate, and to have each player's individual ability factor in. And you can see I'm showing that right here. And how that works is on certain board result numbers, you take the individual rating of the player into account to determine which fielding chart they're in. And you can see here that for the outfielders in the infield, except for first base, if you roll any of if the result numbers are any of these right here, then you have to look at the fielding rating for the individual player. And how might that come into play? An example, Willie Horton, if you remember, this is the 72 Tigers. Their fielding total was 42, which would, if I was just playing the standard basic APBA game, all the fielding results would come out of column 1. But if I'm now applying this optional fielding rating for the game, let's take Willie Horton. If there's a fly ball to left field, or if there's a result to the out for numbers, if the result number is 15 or 30, we have to use the left fielder's fielding rating. In this case, Willie Horton is a 1, which is the worst fielding rating for an outfielder. So instead of using fielding 1 column for this result, I'd have to look in the fielding 3 column because Willie's rated a 1. So using this adds a little bit more granularity to how the defense factors in the game. In addition, for chart number results of these numbers right here, 21 and all the way to 34, this set of numbers, what you do is you add up the 4 infielders, the pitcher and the catcher. So you add up 6 players' defensive capabilities. And if they total less than 30, then when you have one of these result numbers, you use fielding number 3. If the total of those 6 players are 30 to 34, then you use fielding column 2 for these number results, and anything greater than 35, use fielding 1. So this is another area that's more of a, let's say, a subgroup of factors that can affect which fielding column to use. And then on all the other chart numbers, which are the 12, 13, 14, 23, and then 35 to 42, you just use the team fielding rating. So this is another way to, again, provide a little more detail into the game. When I play games myself, I've built this little spreadsheet chart here. And what I do is for each of the fielders that are affected, I just write down their rating: left fielder, center fielder, right fielder, first base, second, third and short, pitcher and catcher. And then these numbers right here are the numbers that the result numbers. I would, if I get one of those, I will use the rating of that individual player. This sheet just helps me remember very quickly when the specific result numbers come into play when I'm using the advanced fielding. I also have the other result numbers down here. This would be the rating for the 6 players, the 4 infielders, the pitcher and catcher, and then this is the overall team rating, and that's what the less than 36 and 40, not very clear there, but this little thing helps me. So I know that fielding is talked a lot. I'm not sure there's ever been a detailed example of it. Whether you consider this detailed or not, I don't know, but I'm going to be doing a few more of these things with the APBA game in an effort to help people that have never played it and want to know more about it. For experienced APBA players, they're probably, if they watch this, are going to point out 3 things I got wrong or more. I don't think so, but anyway, look for a few more of these types of demos from me. Thank you.